You're listening to Kayo Conversations, a podcast about anything and everything that matters to Chi Omegas.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Kayo Conversations. I'm your host, Leslie Harrington, CEO for Chi Omega, and today we are joined by the amazingly talented Rho Alpha University of Missouri initiate, Lovell Cox. Lavell is the owner and designer for Lavel Fay, a New York City wedding dress redesign business that prides itself on honoring tradition with each design. Lavell's talent is to turn decades-old dresses into stunning new masterpieces fit for today's bridal style. Her work has garnered much attention over the years and has even been featured on Good Morning America and everyone's favorite wedding planning website, theknot.com. And recently, she has been designated as one of just 30 Chi Omegas honored in our 30 Under 30 program. Welcome to Kayo Conversations, Lavell. You are definitely one to watch, and I'm so excited to have you on the podcast today.
Hi, Leslie. I'm so excited to talk with you today.
Well, good. Well, I know sewing is such a specialized talent and has kind of been a lost art among college women until I'd say recently when quote unquote granny hobbies like crocheting and knitting have become popular and in style again. So who taught you to sew and what sparked your interest?
My mom actually taught me how to sew when I was around 7 years old. And I always just loved working with my hands, making something out of nothing.
Yeah.
So that's really how I learned how to sew and how it turned into my career at the starting stages of it.
Well, I'm curious, why do you think these hobbies have become more popular with young people today? And let's say there's a Chi Omega out there who has kind of a curiosity for sewing and design. Where do you even start?
I would say for sure, as you previously said, it is a lost art.
Yeah.
And I also think today people just want hobbies. They want something to do outside of school and work. Sewing is a great component of that.
Yeah.
And if you're a Chi Omega, you're looking to really find sewing in your community, I would just do a quick Google search. You never know what type of classes or other types of organizations would be offering a sewing class. For instance, my studio is through a sewing center in Manhattan in the New York City Garment District.
Oh.
People come in every day and learn alterations, how to operate a sewing machine, how to just do simple, quick dresses they can make. So there's so many different ways you can go about sewing that I also just love.
Well, and anybody could do that. I should really do that. I have made my tailor a rich, rich woman because I'm so short and I come in there all the time. So if I could just learn like a hem, that would be amazing savings for me. We should all.
Yes.
Well, it seems like you've always had a love for weddings. In fact, you even had a bridal themed birthday party when you were a little girl. So where did that bridal passion come from?
Well, yeah, you could say when I was 5 years old, I must have read the future as far as what I wanted to do with my career.
Yeah.
But it really wasn't until I went to the University of Missouri. I majored in textile apparel management on their product development track. And that's where I really learned how to construct garments. I had always had a love for dressmaking. So when I moved to New York City, I knew I wanted to do something with dresses. It wasn't until I interned with Haley Page, the first instance I walked into her design studio and saw her whole team working towards making her collection for the season.
Yeah.
And I was just captivated. I couldn't get over, I felt like I was walking into a movie scene, truly. And that was it. And also, just knowing you're designing for such a meaningful part of someone's life and could be the most important dress of their life is very meaningful. And I love to be a part of that.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the internship at Haley Page because that was a huge score on your part and sounds like it was really impactful for you. But how did her style influence yours?
I would say definitely, as far as her style goes, I feel like every designer has a different aesthetic,
Yeah.
but her brand as well, it's all about not just the style of the dresses, but also her component to it. She was featured on Say Yes to the Dress. I felt like she was very involved in the bride's life too, as far as being a part of their story.
Okay, so she's a designer that's not necessarily like behind the sewing machine. She gets to know her brides.
Yes, I would say. And she does a lot of trunk shows too, which I would always love seeing her going to the bridal boutiques that she sold her wedding dresses at. So brides really got to know her and know that they're wearing a Haley Page.
Huh. Well, your design business, Lavell Fay in New York City, is pretty huge now. So, how did it feel branching out on your own?
Oh my goodness. I had always had an entrepreneurial spirit, so I always wanted to work for myself.
Mm.
It As far as New York City goes, I knew, so I actually lived in New York prior to COVID. That's when I interned for Haley Page. And then during March 2020, the world shut down. I moved back to Dallas for 4 years and worked at a bridal boutique where I learned a lot about the consumer and brides in general, like what they wanted. I started doing custom work, and then I took on two side projects of redesigning mom's wedding dresses.
Okay.
I posted them on social media, and that's really where I found this untapped market and this need for brides that were discovering their mom's wedding dress that had been boxed up for years. And now it was their time to get married, and they wanted to utilize it, but they didn't know how to go about that. So that's how I really found this exact very specific specialty of just redesigning mom's wedding dresses.
Well, that is a special niche. And I am impressed that you made an already special, momentous occasion like a wedding even more special by combining, the mom's dress with, today's style. So congratulations for you for finding that niche. I want to pivot now for a minute and talk about your time at Rho Alpha chapter. What made you decide to go through recruitment and what drew you to Rho Alpha?
My mom was actually a Chi Omega, so I had always grown up with knowing my mom's memories and stories that she is still really close with some of her sisters from her pledge class.
Yeah.
And so I always grew up knowing, and I'm actually an only child, so I never had any siblings growing up, but I always loved the idea of having sisters and people to go to. So when I decided to go to the University of Missouri, there was no question. I knew I wanted to go through recruitment. And when I talked to the first Chi that I met at the house, I just fell in love with everything about Chi Omega. And I felt like everyone was just so different. And I loved that about the Chi Omega house.
Well, that is some good brainwashing on the part of your mother. So I have her to thank for that. Thank you wherever you are. I want to ask: are there any lessons you learned or themes in Chi Omega that you learned during your time at Rho Alpha that come through and show up in your work today?
I would definitely say to be discouraged never. As an entrepreneur, you have so many ideas, and so many people can have different opinions or what they think would be the right way to go about your business or how you do it, how you go upon doing a new venture,
Yeah.
which I always say too, you only need to be right once. So to just keep trying. For instance, when I'm redesigning mom's dresses, I saw an open opportunity for brides that wanted to use the extra fabric as accessories.
Oh.
So for that is really how I came up with the option to make new accessories for the brides too, because they were asking for it. And then I started doing that. And now I have brides that not only want to redesign their mom's dress, but they also want a clutch, a bow for the other family members as well, which has been really cool to see.
I love that. Now, have you had, I imagine so, any opportunities to design dresses for your Chi Omega sisters?
Yes, I have. So I custom designed a couple of my pledge class sisters' wedding dresses. My cousin, also a Rho Alpha Chi Omega,
Oh.
I custom designed her custom wedding dress and rehearsal dinner. And it's kind of a funny story because right when this was all going viral and I found this untapped market in redesigning mother's wedding dresses, we unboxed our mother's dress. Our moms are sisters, and they actually shared the same wedding dress. And so when she was getting married, I thought, oh my gosh, we should unbox it, take pictures of it. Had such a wonderful memory with my family members unboxing our mother's wedding dress. We put it on. We reminisced on the memories of when my aunt got married and also when my mom got married. And so I actually redesigned the dress for her bridesmaid luncheon. And then also she just had her daughter, and I made a custom christening gown out of the dress as well. And one day when it comes to be my wedding day, I would also love to utilize the dress as well. You don't really see your I feel like there's a misconception with the heirloom wedding dresses. A lot of them come with a lot of fabric, so you can make multiple items out of the dress.
Well, I feel like you are embodying the phrase I like to use, which is repurpose on purpose, like sisters on purpose.
Yes.
I mean, that dress is like the traveling sisterhood of the dress. I mean, and I was going to ask you, I assume you're single now. Yes? No?
Yeah, I have a boyfriend, but yes.
Okay, boyfriend. But when you do get married, I thought maybe your dress was already designed, hanging in your closet, but it sounds like maybe not, that you're thinking of maybe using this dress.
Yes, well, nowadays people have a full bridal wardrobe.
Cool.
I definitely want to custom design my own wedding dress so then I can carry that dress forward. But I definitely know that I want to utilize my mom and aunt's dress in some way. But I also have my grandmother's wedding dress from 1953. It shares like such a special place in my heart because it's also blue, which is very unique, and I love, yeah.
Okay, so you're going to work that in too.
Oh yes, I'm gonna have all the heirloom wedding dresses for my wedding one day.
I mean, take it slow, but I can't wait to see all this. Well,
I know, I'm excited.
Yes. Well, I mentioned recently, we were excited that you were designated as one of Chi Omega's 30 under 30. What did that feel like to receive that honor?
Such an honor. And I also loved that I got to see all the other Chi Omegas that won 30 under 30 as well. And just seeing where everyone's headed after graduation and see what they're passionate about and what they're doing with their 20s has been such a cool experience. And I'm so excited and happy to be a part of that.
It's pretty inspiring looking at all your successes, the whole group.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Yes, I totally agree.
Okay, let's have some fun. So coincidentally, I just celebrated my 30th wedding anniversary this week, and I have two Chi Omega daughters, and it's not lost on me at all that my we'll call it that, interesting 1996 style would never be something that they would wear today. But knowing you and knowing what you do is giving me this like small glimmer of hope. So if you'll indulge me, take a look at this number. Yes, that is me in 1996. What adjustments
so cute
to this very, very 90s look, especially that lattice feature, like to make it more 2026?
I would say if you wanted to make it more modern, you could definitely take off the shoulders. A lot of the brides that I work with today are using their mom's dress for a second dress, their rehearsal or their reception dress. Rehearsal, usually they want to go more for a midi length skirt, which, for instance, your dress, I could turn your original skirt into a fitted midi length skirt. Right. And then we take the original hem and bring it up and have the same lace placement there. For sisters, I have a lot of brides that come to me actually that have a sister. And depending on how long your train is, I'll have a bride that will want to make the dress shorter, and then we just modernize the top. And then for the other sister, I make a full custom dress out of the fabric from the train. So I have a lot of different ways brides can go about it. Another example for your dress, if you wanted to just take the bodice off and one of your daughters wanted to source a skirt or pants or something to just wear the bodice, they could do that as well. There's so many different ways ways you can go about it. And that's why when I am talking to brides, I feel like I am giving them homework sometimes because I'm like, anything's possible.
Yeah.
And so there's just so many ways you can go about it, and which is what I love.
Well, that is so comforting. I feel like if you can do something with that dress, then, nothing is really a total loss. You could probably work with any dress. Yes.
Yeah, I would say I always say there's creative solutions. And I feel like what a lot of people don't realize, one of the misconceptions is that if the dress is not the right size, then you can't use it.
Yeah.
I've worked with brides where I've had to resize the dress in multiple sizes. I always, when I'm on the call with him, I talk about what is your priority? What do you love about the dress? And then that's how I kind of decide how we're going to go about resizing it to make it fit them perfectly.
Well, I imagine that you have interacted with brides of all kinds, and you hear all kinds of family stories, and there are all kinds of special heirlooms that go along with the dress. Is there a story that stands out to you, or have you ever ran into a bride that you could not get along with, or did not ever meet their design expectations? Any good stories like that?
As far as stories go, I have a lot of brides that come to me where maybe they're getting married abroad, or they're grandparents or parents aren't able to make their wedding due to health reasons or traveling. And so they still want to use the dress. And so what they'll do is have a civil ceremony with their close family members and redesign the dress for that, which has always been such a special place in my heart too, to know that I'm able to help them bring their vision to life through this dress, and also share so many memories with their family members for the people that aren't able to make it to their actual wedding.
Well, even for the simplest of ceremonies, you can make a dress that works. And that's important too. Well,
yes.
For our final question, what is next for you? Are there any new changes or big exciting projects for Lavel Fay on the horizon that you can share with us?
I've recently been really getting into the accessories out of the mom's dresses.
Yeah.
That way, too, if you're not local to New York City, I require 3 in-person fittings for a heirloom redesign that they're going to wear. But for brides that just want a bag, a bow, or something that they can gift their mom out of the dress, I have a lot of brides that want to utilize the dress for wedding day gifts for their family members too. It's such a great way to use the dress. For instance, right now I'm working on an heirloom redesign project, and the bride wants to make 25 accessories out of the dress
25.
for her family.
Wow.
Yes. And there is enough fabric. We pieced it all together we laid the patterns out before we cut out the dress. We cut out of the extra fabric, but yes, 25.
I cannot believe you made that work. She must be so excited.
Yes, she is.
Well, good. Well, Lavell, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been such a treat for us to learn more about your journey and your process, and we're just so proud of you. Before we let you get back to all those brides, though, is there anything we left out? Anything else you want to share with our listeners?
I would say if you are getting married, or in the future think you're going to get married, or you've talked to your mom recently and you discover that you have your mother's wedding dress, definitely unbox it and see if you would want to use it for the future. Because it's also, like I said, when my mom and I and aunt and cousin had this shared memory of us lamenting on the old memories of their wedding day, it's something that you just won't ever forget and you'll cherish forever.
No, and you only have, hopefully, that one time to take advantage of it.
Yes.
Hopefully. Well, thank you, sister. I look so forward to seeing your career continue to thrive. And thank you, everyone out there, for listening today. I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Lavell, and that you'll go check out Lavel Fay immediately on social media. We have many more exciting guests this season on our podcast, and we're always looking for more. So please email us at chiomega@chiomega.com if you have any suggestions. And as always, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast so you'll be ready for our next Chio Conversation.